Good morning. Brian of London here in the park after the noise tests. Decided it's better to come over here than to try and do anything near my office. Industrial sounds do not sound good. Anyway, wait for a few more to join, but it's a gorgeous morning here in, well, somewhere outside Tel Aviv. I have my coffee, my Bots Israeli coffee grounds in hot water. Bots, by the way, just means mud, so that's the description of the type of coffee I'm drinking. Of course, they're blowing leaves. All right, we'll speak up. And Tommy Robinson's event yesterday, Panodrama, I've had a quick scan through the media coverage of it, which is always interesting and fun. And I probably want to do a bit more of a thorough dive on this on my computer with a YouTube stream or something like that, showing you screenshots and so forth. But here are some big themes that I'll just throw in there. Firstly, none of the coverage I saw mentioned online viewership. Now, Tommy did not organize a proper live stream from the event, but many people in the crowd were live streaming, and some of those went out on Tommy's Facebook page. The ones that went out on Tommy's Facebook page immediately gained 13 or 14,000 viewers live. And it was hard to see live. I mean, we're still waiting for the proper version of Panodrama to drop onto YouTube's and Facebook. And I suspect that when that happens, it will be viewed many hundreds of thousands of times. It will probably garner millions of views within the next week. I think that's unavoidable. And so what's really interesting is that most of the press, actually with the exception of the BBC, totally and utterly failed to mention any of the significant allegations in the Panodrama documentary. I mean, the Independence article is particularly good, and it's not written by Lizzie Dearden, which in and of itself is interesting. It may indicate, I don't know, she might be away, she might be doing something else, I don't know, but she's normally the one to cover Tommy. But as far as I know, Tommy has actually sued the Independent and sued her for her coverage of the Darren Osborne trial. So they might well have taken Lizzie off the beat, so they had someone else. And then, their coverage talks about his wedding video that he played. Listen, Tommy does some stuff. It's funny to watch, because by putting the wedding video in there, by doing that little bit at the end with his stupid little rap about the King of Islam from the Sun tape, by putting those things in there, it's like you're throwing distractions to the media to see if they take those, and they always will. I mean, the other thing is that all of the coverage is hammering away at the far right crap. And all of the people in the crowd, and a vast number of those people watching online and streaming it live, who have already begun to identify with the things Tommy says, are getting really upset by being called far right. You're not just calling Tommy far right when you do this, you see. You're calling all the people who go to the enormous effort of getting on trains and getting in coaches and driving their own cars to Salford, not Manchester. You are insulting all of them with this far right crap, and you're devaluing the far right. There is a real far right. There are Jew-hating, black-hating, gay-hating, far right, extreme, horrible people in the UK. By calling Tommy Robinson one of those, you destroy. It's like the socialist worker, which is always called Tommy Robinson, the Nazi Tommy Robinson. This is personally deeply offended. I don't go on a lot about the Holocaust. It's not something I think Jews should be driving with all the time. But what you don't find me doing is comparing everything to Hitler or comparing everything to the Nazis. The Nazis, for Jews, are on a special pedestal. We have been persecuted for millennia. We have many different persecutors. We have a day in the calendar called Tisha B'Av, where we remember the destruction of the temple, where we kind of remember all the people who've tried to kill us. Hitler does have a special place in that for Jews, and the Nazis have a special because they were just so damn effective and damn industrialized. So when you compare Tommy Robinson to a Nazi, a man who has fought Nazis since his very first appearance on television, which was burning a damn swastika to say, we are not like the Nazis. So the socialist worker have been calling him this is disgusting, and it's actually, by the International Holocaust Remembrance Association definition, it is an act of Jew hatred to falsely use Nazi comparisons, which applies to all of you in America who call Trump Hitler. Same bullshit. This thing of saying you're really doing yourselves a big mistake. Anyway, back to the kind of the media coverage, the overall thrust of it. The overall thrust of it was the same old, same old. It was minimize the numbers, minimize what was said, ignore the substance, go for the fluff around the edges. Somebody sang a song, denigrate that. Somebody, he played a wedding video, denigrate that. Don't address the fact that BBC were faking the news. They were trying to fake the news. They were trying to make Tommy out to be a sexual predator when he is not. They were trying to create lies and put them into the public domain. Ignore that. Now, the BBC's report did talk about that a little bit, which is really interesting. So they had to address it, and John Sweeney, they had to issue an apology on behalf of John Sweeney for some of the things he said. Does the report mention the details of what he said? No. They just say that Tommy Robinson alleges that he said something racist or homophobic. Tommy Robinson alleges. Well, the video is right there for you to play, BBC. Tommy hasn't put any particular restrictions on your rebroadcast of it. You could embed it in the webpage, but you will not do that. Now, the other part is that the Panorama producers put a statement saying that they're still considering broadcasting the program, or that the program is still in production. This is going to work. This is going to work out wonderfully in Tommy's favor, because the result of this particular Panorama work, in conjunction with the far left, hate-filled, hope not hate group, this absolutely divisive government and NGO and Soros-funded hate group, the work that they did with Panorama will never be shown. That's my prediction, based on Tommy's documentary, and they'll never show it. It was scheduled to be the whole point was it was scheduled to be broadcast last week to coincide with Hope Not Hate's ridiculous "everybody's a Nazi" far-right report. Oh, and a little paragraph here about the massive problem of anti-Semitism in the UK Labour Party. This much, and then like 90 pages of bullshit. That report that Panorama was producing was supposed to go out that week. That's why they had to talk to Tommy on that day. In fact, they said to him, we must talk to you before the end of January because we're doing a program for broadcast in mid-February. What's the date? We're after mid-February. It will never be broadcast. Panorama have wasted the taxpayers' money on producing a hit piece that they cannot show because it is full of lies, and because they know now, and they've been exposed, and the undercover footage, they cannot ever produce that documentary. So the longer it goes on with Panorama like putting out vague, woolly statements saying it's still in production, it just works. It's almost like, what else can they do at this point other than just put their hands up and say, we tried to take Tommy down, we tried to lie about him? But they're not going to do this because they have no integrity ever. Their integrity is gone. You have lost the people. Meanwhile, last week, Tommy's Facebook number of likes, those are public likes. That means that your employer, if you like Tommy's page, people will see that. And his follows, they've gone above the UK Labour Party. This is an enormous political party with hundreds of thousands of members, with basically most unions in the UK compelled to be in the UK Labour Party. But those people can't be bothered to like the Labour Party on Facebook more than Tommy Robinson's support has grown. That's astonishing. And obviously, I don't like really talking about his Facebook page because it's almost like a Schrodinger's cat thing. It's like if we talk about it too much, it will get taken away. At some point, I suspect they'll try and take it away, but I think he's bigger now than a Facebook page. You know, he's got the pull to drag people from Facebook to whatever platform he chooses, his own platform. We'll be seeing what happens. Yes, the whole documentary is going to go out later today on YouTube once they fixed proper subtitles on it, because it needs subtitles throughout. It was a huge, again, think of the work. That was a well put together documentary, but he didn't go into that documentary with a script. He filmed things. He filmed what Panorama were doing. He got statements from people, and from that, the story emerges. It was not the other way around. Panorama's view was take down Tommy. Where do we go to get evidence that will take down Tommy? That is the difference. That's the difference between journalism, which is what Tommy Robinson did yesterday, and vile, slanderous hit pieces paid for by the government that BBC were attempting to do to Tommy. That's the difference. And again, all of the newspaper coverage today that avoids talking about the actual contents of the documentary that was shown. And that's the other thing is no violence, no trouble, not even one arrest, not even the Antifa people got arrested. So they were kept completely caged. No trouble. Apparently, Tommy's people were picking up litter afterwards. The place was left cleaner than they'd gone. All of this sort of stuff. That doesn't get a mention. I mean, that's what the press were hoping for. Oh, they were really hoping that someone with a can of lager would throw a punch or something. There were a couple of far left activists who pretend to be journalists who were ejected. But, they long ago lost the idea that they were there to do an honest job. So people have lost faith in them. And so I know from the stage they said, leave the journalists, even if they're fake journalists and they're activists, leave them alone. But really, the demonization that's gone on, and again, when you call Tommy far right, you are not calling Tommy far right. You're calling everybody, me included. When you call Tommy a Nazi, you call me a Nazi, socialist worker. That's what you do. You're saying, because I hold almost the same views as Tommy, if you're calling his views and his persona Nazi, you're calling me a Nazi. And I'm a Jew sitting here in Israel, in the reborn Jewish state, where we've re-established ourselves so that we don't get genocided again. So we've got the guns and tanks and armies to bloody well kill our prospective genociders before they can do it. When Socialist Worker calls Tommy a Nazi, they call me a Nazi. And I don't like that. That is actually Jew hatred from the Socialist Worker. From the big anti-racists, you are being racist. Anyway, maybe I'll do a YouTube thing with lots of the stuff. I love the Hallelujah song. Again, the Independent are like dismissive. They say they butchered Hallelujah. They did not butcher. It's a beautiful song there with the how they rule ya. Everybody, that was editorializing in the news, in the headline. It's like they sang a version of Hallelujah with the lyrics changed to how they rule ya. That is a news report. They butchered Hallelujah is opinion masquerading as news in a headline. That's what you're left with from your ultra far left hate you, the fans of Tommy Robinson journalists. That's what they are doing. They hate you. They hate you so much. And then they put a little banner at the bottom. Please contribute to pay for The Guardian. Please contribute to pay for The Independent. Ha ha. Yeah, stop paying the BBC license fee. Do not watch live television. Watch YouTube. Watch Tommy. Watch me. Watch 100 other great people. Do not watch the BBC. Do not pay the license fee. Click cancel today. I'm Brian of London. I am in Tel Aviv. I charge whatever you value my content. send me some value. If you don't value it, don't send me. If you do, do. I don't care. brianoflondon.me is my website. I'll be back on later, I think. Keep an eye on my YouTube channel if I go live there with a sort of a line-by-line deconstruction, but this might be enough. Thanks all for watching, and have a great day, everybody.